How did he become a test pilot? He was a criminal.
He's this weird chair. Why did it have the weird chair?
What is this group's story? What's going on with the rebellion?
Calcite. The thing they're looking for is calcite from planet Ghorman.
Today we're watching Andor season 2 episode 1. What happened?
First thing happened is Bix. Bix is living illegally on Mina Rao.
And then Cassian steals a new experimental TIE fighter in a clumsy way, but he gets it done.
It's done. Mon Mothma, Luth and Reel are at a betrothing for Mon Mothma's daughter.
Yep. And then we see the Mon Mothma estate. Look at that luxury.
So rich stuff. Then Cassian settles down on an undisclosed planet where these rebel guys are rebelling around.
Oh, yeah. That was weird. And the Empire are planning Empire things on the Malthine Divide. They got a big meeting.
Of these
Everybody's
top big shots doing evil stuff, evil Empire stuff. What did you think about the episode?
I give the episode a 8 out of 10.
Generous.
To me, it felt like Star Wars. It's a little adult, a little slow pace, but it felt like Star Wars to me. The escape and operation that went foobar was pretty cool to me. Andor Cassian flying around like doesn't know what he's doing. It's kind of comedic, but also kind of fun. The farm storyline seems a little forced, a little bit. I don't know, with the farm workers and the visas and stuff. It feels a little forced. And then the Forest Gang. What's going on with the Forest Gang? Is this showing that the rebels, they're kind of disorganized? They got this gang. They don't know what's going on. They're infighting. Are they important? It was fun, but at the same time, I was like, who are these guys? So I was engaged the whole time. So that felt great. But Mon Mothma and Luthen and moving through the rich world is a little jarring, which is a good thing, I think, because we've got this like, are they rebels? Are they good? Are they bad? They're like the 1% living this rich life. It's kind of jarring. So overall, for me, 8 out of 10. What'd you think?
I agree with your assessment. I give it a 6 out of 10, however. To be clear that I'm not doing this like C is average, like 5 is average. So this is a little bit above average, nothing amazing, but you know, good. And so the pros of this episode was that there was good tension, solid tension. I felt it in not only the escape, but also there was good contrast, like a different form of tension between, as you said, the rich people and then the poor people. For example, the rebels doing down and dirty, nitty gritty stuff. Excellent contrast between the societies. The production value, the diverse sets, the 5 different planets, super cool. Also that 1950s video for the Ghorman spider silk planet, super fun production. I don't understand why the Empire is doing subterfuge. This is my big con. They have on the Malthian planet, they have all the high level, super secret, evil Empire people. And if they're super powerful, why are they doing subterfuge? They have to go in there and sow sedition. Like, what is this? Is it Empire or is it not Empire? So overall, I give it a 6 out of 10. Pretty good. Mostly, it's the first episode of a show coming back on the season 2. It's just setting up for the rest of the season. So not too high expectations, but I mean, good. 6 out of 10.
All right, let's get into it. We see Cassian is in a experimental facility. How did he become a test pilot? He was a criminal.
That's right. I guess where did we leave off in season 1?
So what happened? He got arrested on that one, like, I don't know, resort planet, and he got sent to the prison place where he was making parts for the Death Star.
Yep.
And then they plan an escape, and they escape, and they jump into the water. So as far as the Empire is concerned, he's a criminal. He's in their records. So the rebellion has amazing intelligence operation, right? Because somehow they cleansed the Empire's records of Cassian.
Right.
And then,
so Cassian went to the prison. Presumably, they did like body scan, eye scan, fingerprint, IDs, a whole bunch of like different ways to identify exactly who he is. So you're saying the rebels must be incredible with their backdoor channels, secret intelligence, such that they got him cleared. Because Cassian Andor, when he comes in here, shouldn't cameras be like, hey, that face, I recognize that face. That's Cassian Andor. He's in our logs for a criminal. You're saying they got around it.
Right. I mean, even just a background check to become a pilot, you think, oh, flag, who the hell is this guy? I mean, if he was like a foot soldier, maybe, but for a test pilot on an experimental aircraft, and the rebellion was able to get him into there with all the paperwork and all the background checks passing, that seems incredible.
Gosh,
Wow.
if I was Cassian Andor, I would be worried that this is some type of honeypot. Like, why are they letting me in?
Oh,
Like,
that's
yes,
right.
I'm a
It's like
badass and stuff, but
counterintelligence.
if they know that I'm a criminal and they're still letting me in, like, are they just baiting me and more of my comrades?
That's right. So they may be letting him in to then feed, to get new intelligence back to the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, first of all, why wouldn't the rebellion pick somebody else to be the test pilot? Like, that guy's compromised. He's out. He's just going to do other things.
Yeah, we'll set him
From
up
now
in the
on.
office doing paperwork. Still an important job.
I mean, yeah, he can be a soldier, but I just don't think he can be a spy anymore.
That's right.
Right?
Too recognizable. Or maybe his face is just this ambiguous. Like, is he white? Like, you know what I'm saying? Here's like if you're like in England in the 1950s and it's like 95% of people are white, you send a black dude in there, he stands out. But if you send a white person in there, then it's like, it kind of blends in, right? And so Diego Luna is Spanish, I guess. And so he's blending in to the Empire. And so maybe he blends in.
So he blends in with the Imperial person. What does a typical Imperial person look like in order to blend in?
That is a good question. I think we have seen a diverse, multicultural, multiplanetary people. Like Finn, for example, he's like a black dude. And he was in the Empire, although that's the First Order. But
I mean, it's the remainder of it's what the Empire became, and so there's probably a lot of crossover.
It wasn't like a full cleansing or they cleared everyone out. It's like for most people, probably it was just a name change, like whatever.
Yeah. So maybe the fact that he's kind of attractive, human, makes him easily blend-inable.
Kind of.
In the Empire. But at the same time, run a background check.
Fingerprint this guy. You got test pilots rolling in and just like, I'm a test pilot. Like, sure, sir. You're a test pilot. Like,
that's maybe it's a honeypot. They're just like letting rebels in, seeing how their intelligence operation works.
Yeah, because Cassian Andor didn't check that new TIE fighter for if there's like a nuclear bomb. You just dropped it back off in the Rebel base.
That's right.
Or some type of bio agent, something.
Could have been.
Andor steals this TIE fighter, but he's this weird chair. Why did it have the weird chair?
So weird.
Right? You see it in his face. He's like, where do I sit? He's like messing with it.
Yeah.
And it transforms. It's like the supernatural thing to look when you're getting into pilot something, like, where do I sit? Right? Because that's where you're going to sit, and then you're going to do all the controls. So why? Why did it have this transformy chair?
Gosh, at first glance, it doesn't make sense. We have this chair. It's like over-engineered. What are we doing? Why can't the pilot just walk around the chair? Now maintenance guys have a new thing to maintain, the chair, the mechanisms, all that stuff, when it could just be a solid thing. So what the heck? So why? Maybe is it more convenient for the pilot to get in, so the pilot entrance time is decreased by half a second?
That's the same thought I had as well. So if this was a normal sized chair, like, yeah, it's clear where you're going to sit. But if you're a pilot, you have to wiggle around the outside. Maybe that's a little bit of delayed time. Maybe these TIE fighters are like intercept TIE fighters. You like launch them off the ship as fast as you can. In which case, you want the pilot's butt in that seat as fast as you can. Like, sit down, some good posture, and then they're like toggling, getting all their pre-flight checklists in. And then during that time, you can have the chair transform. Hey, maybe.
Yeah, I like it. It's just the time gains due to this chair is super minimal. So maybe they're like trying to compound like half a second here, a tenth of a second there. Do that 100 times. All of a sudden, you got like 5-10 seconds of time gains for this interceptor.
Time games where that bird is in the air. If it's defending a Star Destroyer, like, I need that bird in the air now.
That's right. So, I mean, the Empire, if this is the kind of incremental change that they're creating to reduce time
progress
and increase competence, I mean, that is
That's progress.
That's high
right?
level. Yeah.
Progress, right? That being said, this is potentially more problems, right? Because you could just have a stiff back chair, maybe a little bit of angle of recline, so that way, depending on the pilot, it fits their body. But having more mechanisms is more problems. Like imagine the chair doesn't transform all the way up, and the pilot's like, "My chair is broken. What do I do?" And then that plane can't fly because they need to get a maintenance crew in there. That's like potentially all the problems.
Yeah, that's right. Just the extra maintenance, because it's a complex thing. It's got to like fit down into the floor. It's got to come upright. It's got to be smooth. It can't be all herky jerky and get stuck.
It can't be like overpowered and crush the pilot. Like, oh my god,
oh my gosh,
like a crab cracker. Like, oh
yeah. And if it's like battle situation, I could imagine. I don't know the where it falls into the floor. It could get, I don't know, something could fall in there, and then the mechanism's like
jam.
jam.
But it's a test plane, so I don't know. They try stuff.
Right.
You got to try stuff. See if it works.
Sure. Maybe that chair won't make the cut, but man, that's a complicated chair. So then next is the escape. Let's take a look at Andor's escape, because he doesn't know what he's doing in this TIE fighter at all. It's kind of goofy, kind of fun.
You want to do a little play-by-play?
Let's do it. So here he is.
Scoping out the joint.
Pilot. Little key.
Clear button. This guy.
Okay. Here, that confused me. Shooting the droid, I thought was a mistake.
Yeah, this guy's just doing his job. Like, let him do his job. Why are you hating on him?
Okay. Yeah, it's a sentient being that should not be killed. Killing's bad.
That's right.
You should never kill.
In the Star Wars universe, these droids are sentient beings. Like, they have their own thoughts and opinions and stuff. And Andor is just like, psh, 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 die, mother.
At the same time, Andor is willing to kill for the rebellion. He will kill humans and droids. So, equality.
So, in fact, it's not racist. You have to kill the droid. Because if it was a guard, if it was a trooper, he would have killed him right away, right?
That's right. And so he's also killing the droid right away. The problem I have is that the droid is probably networked in to whatever network the Empire has. And as soon as the droid gets shot, like alarms go off, lock down the camp. Or
the
base.
You network your droid. So every 5 seconds, every 10 seconds, you get the droid's like, I'm alive, I'm doing my thing, don't worry about me. And then because that's you just do that for free. Like the bandwidth on your network is so small, just do it. And so then if a droid ever goes offline, you're immediately alerted, like something weird went on there. Get a trooper in there.
Right. So if I was I was playing a video game and I was Andor or was Cassian, I would, crouch behind one of those crates there and wait for the android to go out of sight and then run into the craft, so I could get that extra 10, 15 seconds of not detected time. So I think shooting him was a mistake.
I think shooting was a mistake. Let's see what else they do.
Fuel line out. Good job. Button press.
Cool weapons.
And he goes backwards.
I am amazed by this vehicle. Because like if you get an F-18, you get an F-35 sliding around the deck of an aircraft carrier like that, it's banging its wings all over the place, it's not taking off.
Right. In fact, it might even need to be scrapped if it's doing this kind of like grinding against the...
Slam into the wall stuff.
Is this why TIE fighters have these wings? So they can like take damage not to the core? Because it's like the place where the pilot is has taken no damage. It's all these outside wing things. I don't know what you call them.
I don't know. Wings
scraping and taking dings and dents, bumping into things. Is that why?
I don't know, because they're not needed for space flight, like definitely not. And even when they are in atmosphere, the wings don't have ailerons. They don't have flaps.
Right.
So what are they for?
Maybe for this, make it more hardy, because this thing is taking a beating. This is like concrete or something.
Yep, just sliding around. Oof. And it survives. Pretty good engineering. Pretty good engineering there, Empire.
Not just pretty good engineering, like fantastic engineering.
Rugged. That's right. That's perfect. Right? This troopers run in and like, what the?
Like
you're like
what?
Deep inside your base. You're expecting enemies to infiltrate at like the front gate, but here you got a TIE fighter, an experimental TIE fighter, like bouncing around the bay. Like what is this?
And they don't even know what to do. They're just like, just fire. I don't even know what to do.
I mean, but they figure it out pretty quickly. They figure out pretty quickly that there's either a rogue pilot or an infiltrator. And they're like, shoot it.
We're
troopers.
Yep.
Take it down.
Take it down. Although, are there small blasters having an effect? I don't think
Absolutely
so.
not. Yeah.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
I guess the hope is to hit a missile or
That's true.
hit something. I don't know. But also at the same time, if all you have is a hammer, then like do it.
Yep, sure.
Right? It's that, or they like wave like stop. Like that's not going to do anything.
Like that's like it. Yeah.
Even worse. Yep, all dead. That guy was weird. Okay, super cool, but weird.
Super weird.
So first of all, that
why is it
armor
weird?
is pretty cool. He's got like the cold armor on, so that's pretty cool.
Yep.
I don't know if we've seen rocket launcher dudes, but sure, they can have them. The weird thing is, where'd he come from?
That's right. Did he come from the outside? Just a single dude on patrol right there? How'd he get in? Is this a secure hangar?
So secure hangar, these doors are closing, like the outside doors are closing. So unless he happened to have been like right outside the door, and then he's like, stuff's going down. He like turns around and is inside. But I don't know. I don't know, where did he come from? Doors are already
like
closed.
If he's patrolling outside and he hears commotion inside, he rapidly determines, I got to go into the back door, through the back door, into the secure hangar, and take out the infiltrator. He's putting that together extremely fast.
Extremely quickly. And he's out there by himself? Rocket dude by himself without a support crew?
Yeah, where's his crew? There's no way it's Rocket Dude by himself without like a spotter or like guy with small arms or something. No way.
Where's his backpack of ammo? He's got a one-shot rocket. I mean, clearly he's got two because he reloads and just like still a threat to Cassian.
Right.
But yeah, just weird. Weird is just one dude.
Yep. And he had to have come from the outside because he's wearing that cold armor. You wouldn't wear that inside. Cold gear. No way.
Exactly. He would be dressed up like the other troopers that are hanging out on the inside.
Yeah.
Plot holes. That was cool though.
That's cool.
That was so sketch. That door was not Swiss cheesy enough. You got a few holes here, and that's not enough.
Yeah, I would have blasted I would not have like full sped it through the door because then I could damage the craft. So like I would make a bigger hole. I think it's worth it to make a bigger hole and like go through without touching.
Yeah.
Even though that takes more time. Because I want my craft intact.
I got a spaceship designed for 0 atmosphere. it's not necessarily designed to be all just impact.
Yeah, and it's one thing to be grinding against the floor, being okay, versus like blasting through a metal door.
Like this stuff on the glass, on the glass wall right in front of him.
Right.
Oh, well, he makes it through. Let's watch. And the classic almost makes it.
No. Okay, missiles coming in. They just like the roll.
He does a roll off the cliff, and then that downward velocity is enough to get him going. Start the engines. Perfect. Right. Classic. Okay, he doesn't quite know how to pilot. Yeah. He doesn't quite know how to pilot, yet he's amazing at piloting.
Right, he's like bouncing against the walls, but he's also doing these like high G turns.
And like just barely making it before splashing all over the walls. Do we know if Cassian is force sensitive? He's doing some force sensitive stuff.
I don't know. I don't think he is. I think he's just a regular rebel guy.
Regular rebel, incredible human, but much better than the other rebels. The other rebels are dumb.
Is he a pilot though? Maybe he's got he knows how to pilot. He's just unfamiliar with these controls. So he has some flying experience, so he can like sort of figure it out as he's going.
Okay. Yeah. That's better than like someone who's never driven and then saying like, get in this commercial vehicle. That's much harder than someone who has driven with some experience. Not exactly mappable,
Right.
but it certainly helps. I like it. Incredible. This bothered me. Ah, don't do that. Okay. Then do it.
Gosh,
Seemed to work.
if I was a TIE pilot, one of those TIE pilots, I would have gone up and over, not under.
That's
I would have
right.
followed him.
Why are they? Yeah. Okay. So one person follows, the other one takes the high angle and watches.
Right. And then if that guy gets taken out by the falling ice, then he just swoops back in and continues the chase.
Yep. Call for more backup. This bothered me because if this is an experimental TIE fighter, it's possible that the rockets are also experimental. I don't know. Maybe they're old rockets that are known to the rebellion. Maybe they're not. Either way, preserve it as much as you can, so that way you can get that intel back to base. Don't be firing these rockets.
I see. You should have fired like 3 and left 3 in the pods.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, I think there's more down here, maybe a few more on the other wing. I don't know, but I want to get as much intel as I can. But I guess on the other hand, get out. Because if he saves all the rockets and he gets shot down, then there's no intel that goes with the rebellion. So do what you got to do, but also save as much as you can.
Gosh, it feels like a video game where it's like I do the roll off the cliff and then I maneuver through the thing and you get a bonus points if you preserve intel,
Oh yeah.
and don't take damage to the craft. So it's like I should reset it and do it again.
That's true.
But he only gets one time, so he's got to get it done. Maybe he hits the rocket button and they all fire and he's like, well,
yeah, I mean, okay, at that point, still get the ship out. All right.
yeah, better than nothing.
Better than nothing.
Then he lands on this mystery planet. What is this group's story? What's going on with the rebellion? Simultaneously, they're super organized with their intelligence, getting Cassian Andor, the test pilot position. On the other hand, these foot soldiers are infighting and not professional at all. What's going on here?
I don't know. So my understanding is Cassian works for the rebellion. These people are also working for the rebellion. In fact, they had the same handler. I think it was Maya or maybe. And so Maya has multiple teams floating around doing missions. And these people were supposed to meet up with Cassian's contact.
Okay.
Like he brings in the TIE fighter, hands it off to somebody else. Then the other guy runs away with it, brings it to the base, brings it to the research base for wherever the rebels are situated. These people encountered Cassian's contact, and then when when Cassian's contact was like, who the F are you? These people were like, who the F are you? And so then they shot him up.
I see.
So friendly fire, full on Rebel Alliance friendly fire happening here.
Which I guess makes sense because the rebellion has a lot of information compartmentalization.
Which is good, right?
It's
good because then if this cell gets captured, they can't rat out other people.
That's right. But when two cells encounter each other and they don't know about each other, they can think, is this an Imperial spy? What is going on? I don't understand.
Right.
And so then there's conflict because they don't know they're on the same team. And then this happens.
Not good. You captured one of your own team.
I guess the weird thing, so it makes sense that kind of miscommunication happened. That makes a lot of sense to me. But this group of young guys is just...
It's a mess.
They have internal strife. It's just, it's a shit show.
So I think this guy was the second in command, or at least that's how he saw it. And then the other guy, some off screen, was the brother of the leader or something like this. And they just, they're too ragtag. You need some structure.
Right. So the rebellion having problems with compartmentalization is one thing, but within a group that all know each other, why don't they have a command hierarchy that's clear? When command guy dies, second in command is this guy, third in command is this guy.
Right. And instead of brotherhood of we went through some stuff, sibling, this is woman, siblinghood of we went through some stuff, we're all on the same team, they're immediately power battling.
Right. Super weird. The rebellion.
Not good.
I mean, I guess it is implied in season 1 that there's many factions as part of the Rebel Alliance. And so they
Okay.
are trying to coordinate and trying to do power battles within the rebellion, and makes sense. It's a mess. They're the rebellion group, I guess.
But you need an asset controller on each planet. That's like, we're sending someone to whatever this planet is, like contact the controller so to let them know who do we have on the ground. You don't get people killing each other on the same team.
So if they both have the same handler, the handler really screwed up here.
Yep.
She had a conflict between two groups, and she sent a group that's just not ready to be in the field at all.
They're not trained yet.
They're not trained up.
Gosh, did they recognize that this was a test plane? Like, they could have been like, let's take it out, blow it up. One TIE fighter less is one TIE fighter we'll encounter later, or one less TIE fighter we'll encounter later. Right? They could have blown it up.
Right. In fact, if they are rebels, and they're soldiers, they don't know what's going on with test planes or whatever. But they could be like, let's get this back to the rebellion. Intel, like asset. Like,
I think there's a standing order. I think there's a standing order. I'm not in the military. I don't know if this is real. Standing order to gather intel. Any chance you get, gather it.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's like if you encounter an enemy AK-47. Okay.
We have enough of those.
Probably,
yeah.
We don't need to worry about
buy
that.
those.
But if you encounter, there's like missile debris or something, like gather up the important parts as best you can and get them back to HQ.
Heck, even in AK-47, but there's new optics that are being adapted to it. Like, bring that back. Let the command know, like, hey, this is what's happening in the field. Just FYI.
Right. So the rebel group, if they were firing on all cylinders, they'd have a clear hierarchy. They'd like take Cassian, tie him up, because they don't know who he is, but not hurt
transport
him.
Him back,
and then tell command, hey, we got a TIE fighter here. Do you guys want it? Let's get this transported back. And then they'd be like,
advise.
And then the Cassian situation would get cleared up, and they'd be fine. This didn't need to happen. This was a total screw up.
None of this need to happen. On Planet Holstein, the evil bad guys, the Empire, they have a problem where they want the Ghorman silk, and there's a problem with that. And I think, can we engineer a solution? Do we have to do what they're doing, or can we solve it with science?
The calcite extraction, I'm assuming it's an invasive process.
It's gouge mining. There would be stress on the planet's core.
There is a risk of total collapse.
Okay, so they want calcite from the core of planet Ghorman, but they say it's gouge mining. You're just grabbing up stuff. You're digging out the material, and you're leaving a hole in the planet that's going to be a big enough hole that it's going to destabilize the core of the planet. And so my thought is, instead of going through this subterfuge, start a rebellion, can we just engineer a solution? So if you're pulling out rocks, can you just put in different rocks that's cheap, or like things that you don't care about? And then you replace the gravitational mass, you replace the structure of the planet, and then it's okay. Okay, right?
Right. So it's additional cost, but you're saying they have the Ghorman have this. They don't want to mess with them for some political reason.
Sure.
And so instead of coming up with all these other problems, let's engineer a solution. And in fact, there's probably like moons and asteroids in the solar system they're in.
Exactly.
Grind them up and pump them down into the planet as you take the calcite material away.
Exactly. So you have there's some amount of asteroids or moons in the system that you don't care about. Grind them up and just drop them down. Use gravity. Just drop them down. Now, don't drop them down on the planet's surface, because then you could have, asteroid impacts, meteorite impacts. But if you already have a tunnel that you've made from drilling, can you just time it and drop the rocks into the hole? So there's like explosion or whatever, but it's in the hole.
Right. And if you get a geologist, physicists, other technical people to engineer a solution, they could come up with a solution so that as you're taking calcite out, you're feeding rock back in.
Oh, yeah, you could do like a what is it? Like a space elevator, and you use the falling mass of the new rock to pull up the rising mass of the rock that you do want.
Well, that's super good because that's controlled. It's also using the solving a problem that also helps you solve the original problem.
You convert the potential energy of the asteroid in space, which you get for free. It's already up there. And you convert that into the potential energy of the calcite that you want and pull it up.
That's really good. So this meeting here, is there an engineer or any technical people in this meeting? I don't think so.
I don't think so. This is the closest guy, and he's reporting that there would be instabilities in the planet. So kind of what his engineering team is telling him. But he's not like on the fly thinking like, how can I solve this? What can I do here?
Yeah. So there's no like technical solutions guy in the room.
So.
That's a big flaw of the Imperial organizational structure. It's all a bunch of command guys, don't know what's going on.
All a bunch of command guys saying like, let's get it. Let's do some subterfuge. Let's start a rebellion. Like, we could just build a train. Like, what are we doing here?
What are we doing? Yeah. Well, they don't have a technical guy in the room to help them out.
Except for this guy. Guys in the room.
Yeah.
Calcite. The thing they're looking for is calcite from planet Ghorman. And so I thought about it because I encountered it at work, or similar crystals. Okay. So calcite, first, what is calcite? Let's get one search less than this. Calcite, a common naturally occurring mineral, the most stable polymorph of calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate, I recognize as chalk.
Okay.
So it's at least the same chemistry. Yeah, let's get a little bit lower. Calcium carbonate, so carbon 3 oxygens. I guess it can look like this milky white stuff, or it grows as these crystals.
Yep.
I encountered it by accident. Like I was looking this up the next day for work stuff. Calcite, when it's real clean, real crystalline, it exhibits a high degree of birefringence. Let's zoom in on this. Calcite exhibits a high degree of birefringence, meaning it refracts light differently depending on the direction of the incoming light and the orientation of its crystal structure. So it's specifically as a function of polarization. So here's a line, single line. Let's pull this into the middle. Close enough. So a single line, and then the word calcite written once, but it creates a double image. So if you have light, that's polarized. It's a wave, but it's not only a wave going up and down, it's side to side. So it's, I don't know, snake horizontally at the same time as bunny hopping up and down. And so calcite, which has this birefringent property, means the index of refraction is different depending on which polarization you get. And so the result is that you get two optical pathways. One light ray comes in, two light rays come out. And so why was this interesting to me? It caught my attention because these guys are setting up for the Death Star, in which case you have these huge lasers. And so crystals with birefringent properties are used in optics with lasers.
Okay, so somehow the calcite is being, huge quantities of calcite are needed to build a huge laser on the Death Star.
Exactly.
And the optical properties of calcite are being used to focus the beams, do something with the beams, so they can use the huge weapon. That makes sense to me. That's kind of cool.
That's some science details in Star Wars. Heck yeah.
My only issue with calcite is if I look at the elements in calcite, like calcium, carbon, oxygen, these are fairly common in the solar system, on Earth at least. I would imagine they're fairly common in the entire galaxy. Like you could find planets without people on them with plenty of this.
So calcium and carbon, I think, are easy chemistry because they're formed in the star fusion. So you get a star that explodes, and these things are splashed all over. Same with oxygen. I think I guess the difficult thing. Let's see. I listen to a podcast. Oxygen in the atmosphere is rare to come by on planets because there's a bunch of different rocks, a bunch of different minerals that pull oxygen out of the atmosphere. And I guess actually this is an example. Calcite is made out of calcium, carbon, and oxygen that's pulled out of the atmosphere. So I guess I agree with you then. Yeah, these should be pretty common. Why do you got to pull it out of Ghorman?
Maybe like with these rocks though, if you're looking at this picture here, there's like the orange one and the blue one. Maybe there's a specific type of this calcite with it's got a specific doping and different things that make it this particular. What's that?
I think no doping is what you want. So you're talking about doping in the form of like ruby, crystal.
Yeah, I guess I'm saying maybe there's calcite and there's a whole bunch of different types of calcite because these rocks are always complicated. And maybe the Empire is looking for this one specific type of this calcite, like very specific, and only this planet has it. And maybe that's the key.
Maybe. So
why this planet and not just find an uninhabited planet is.
We just said a bunch of things. Maybe we should slow that down. So there's aluminum oxide, and depending on the doping, you get like ruby or sapphire or emerald, and it's all the same aluminum oxide, but with little bits of other stuff, little like tiny dopants. So we're talking about like 1 per every million aluminum atoms. You substitute it out with I don't know, something else. You get sapphire, and so then you're saying for this calcite, maybe there's only on Ghorman do you get this really pure stuff, which is then what you need for the optics in the Death Star.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I wasn't even thinking, it wasn't necessarily pure. It could be they need a non-pure version where they need a very specific version of it.
This chemistry.
And it's only found. It could be the pure version. It could be some specific doped version. Whatever it is, it must be uncommon in the quantities they need. I'm filling in some blanks here. I don't know.
I'm filling it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Also filling in blanks. Let's see. I've seen this before. I think it's KOP. I forget what the KOP stands for. But it's these...
KOP.
Right. Maybe it's KDP. KDP crystals. Potassium dideuterium phosphate. So I learned about this at the National Ignition Facility at Lawrence Livermore, their fusion reactor. And so they needed their fusion experiment. And they have lasers that are focused in by these crystals, but the lasers are like 2-3 feet in diameter. So you need crystals. You need like pure, perfect crystals, no extra dopants, no extra and no folds in the crystal structure. It's got to be clean. And so these things don't happen in nature. And so they're grown. They're actually like, here's a human. This thing is all one crystal. And that means every atom is positioned exactly where it needs to be. That's just absolutely insane. And the way they do it is, see down here is this, so blurry. But you see down here, there's a little not transparent spot. Yeah. It's a seed crystal. So you can grow small ones and then grow them bigger. And then you put this thing in a solution of, what was it? KDP, potassium, deuterium, and phosphate. You like make a liquid slurry out of it. So you take these materials independently, grind them up, dissolve them, and then you slowly evaporate it, just like when you put sugar water and you put a string and then it evaporates and it slowly makes a sugar crystal. Similar idea. There's quite a bit more engineering to it, but you can grow these macro scaled perfect crystals. Look at this guy. Look at this guy standing next to them. Yeah. Incredible.
So for the Death Star, they must need this calcite of this particular type in huge quantities to build probably crystals the size of skyscrapers or something absurd, because the Death Star is enormous.
Right.
Yeah. To be able to handle the power of those lasers that could destroy a whole planet.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. I mean, very nicely done. Cool. Science advisors in the Andor show. Very nice. Very nicely done.
Mm-hmm. Because planet-killing atrocities are fun.
Okay. Yes. No. But scientifically accurate? Yes.
Yep. So they're on Ghorman, and they want to get the calcite. But the Ghorman people are apparently powerful. So one way they think about taking care of the powerful Ghorman people is propaganda.
Hasn't there always been something slightly arrogant about the Ghor? No, we love the spiders. Oh, it's an image we can build on. Aggressive, unpleasant, keeping to themselves.
Last year, when the shipping lanes had to be shut down, how hard would it have been to simply allow the Imperial inspections that most other planets welcome?
Did a dedicated Imperial naval inspector really have to die to protect Ghorman pride?
We made the story, we shaped it, we blew it up, we decided when it was over. We can now weaponize this galactic opinion.
The secrecy, The overcharging, mocking Imperial protocols, laughing at us.
Okay. We get the idea.
Okay, so this
What do
guy
you think?
Krennic. This guy
Okay.
Krennic, I think he's the guy who's building the Death Star. And he's like, we don't need any of this propaganda crap. We got Death Stars coming.
This guy.
This guy.
Okay.
Death Star's coming. We don't need this propaganda stuff. We're going to come in with our boot
Ooh.
later, get these
Later.
guys. So he's unimpressed with the propaganda guys. But I was thinking propaganda is a really good way to get stuff done if you can do it in this like sneaky way and like undermine people's power from like so they're on like a shaky foundation of political power. That's the way to go, isn't it? Or am I wrong about that?
I mean, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it because I don't want to fall victim to propaganda. On the other hand, it's very good. Like, you don't actually shoot people. You don't actually set off bombs. You just feed people ideas, and then they take down their own government.
Right. So I agree with Krennic. Like, we gotta have the power to back this stuff up. But also, if I have a strong propaganda intelligence wing that can like undermine anyone politically I need, that's also great power for the Empire, right?
Absolutely.
I kind of agree
Say
with these
if
guys.
Ghorman had a shortage of food, and then these guys were like, just join the Empire. We got tons of food. Look at all of our supermarkets. They're just full of food. It would be super demoralizing. It would make you, as a Ghorman, it would make you wonder, like, am I following the right people? Are they really? Do they really have it under control? Maybe
So if
not.
I have a good intelligence apparatus, I can engineer a food crisis on Ghorman and then provide the alternative, which
Yeah.
undermines the power of the elites. If
Yeah.
I'm an Imperial agent, hell yeah, this is what I want.
I didn't risk anybody's lives. I just had these few people and like print and like social media account and just blast it out there.
I guess also an implication of these guys even making this pitch is that the Empire doesn't have total control of the galaxy yet. I don't think.
That's a good point. So when I saw this part of the episode, I thought that they're the part of the first galactic empire. If you're a galactic empire, you stretch across all the planets. And if you have this big army that was made from the clone troopers, then why don't you just step on whoever disobeys?
That's right. I mean, I think in this case, they want to step on him, right? Just kick him out. But for some reason, the Ghorman have a lot of power.
I interpret
We
that
don't
as
really know why.
Right. So I'm filling in blanks. I think the fabric that they make out of the spider silk is super strong, super valuable, I guess. And so then they have political power through economics. Maybe they're the planets that they trade with. They want this planet to stay intact, so that way they can do their trade. And so then you can't attack Ghorman.
Right.
And that's why I thought of the
So-
engineering solution. Like if I'm
That's right.
the Empire and I want your calcite, but I can't just attack you and push you off your planet. Well, maybe I can say like, hey, I want your calcite. I'll even pay for you for it, and I'm not going to destroy your planet. I'm going to supply your planet with new mass, so you're not going to collapse. Engineering problem.
Right.
In fact, I
think
guess you do propaganda. You convince the Ghorman that the calcite is destroying their planet, even though it's been there for billions of years. and then the Ghorman's like, please take it away from us.
Yeah. Please relocate us, please. I mean, that's ideal. Then you build the Death Star after you've mined the calcite, and then anytime you want somebody to do something, you just roll the Death Star in, be like, do what we say, or your planet's toast.
In fact, what you do is you send some engineers down and start liquefying this, get that carbon to come up in the atmosphere, and you say, yeah, carbon emissions, your planet's dying. We, the Empire, will solve it for you. You want us to solve it for you? You pay
Your
us.
carbon emissions are too high. Where do the carbon emissions come from? Wait, your factories? Well, stop. Well, no, you should leave.
Yeah. Propaganda guys. Propaganda guys would be
guys.
very effective.
Very effective. Yeah. And I think that was it for. Oh no, we've got more.
Just a little check over the planets that are introduced in Andor Season 2. We'll see how many of them stick around, but yeah, they're interesting. So first we see Sienar Test Facility 73. This is where the TIE fighter is.
Yep.
I don't know.
Well,
Seems
just
like a
the-
nice place to visit for a week. Not live here. Too cold for me.
And also, but the Imperial facilities. Look at the facilities. They're just clean and crisp and well built. Man. I mean, I wouldn't want to work for the Empire, but I'd want to work in this facility.
Yeah, that'd be so cool to have like security clearance and like you really feel like I'm doing something important.
Right. And if you've got
And, like,
funding like this, like, holy crap. Yes, please. But
I'm
not for
not-
the Empire. But
I'm not shoved down in the basement with my tiny little experiment. Like clearly big bucks being spent here. Clearly high value, important for the Empire and the safety and security of the galaxy. I wouldn't want to work for the Empire, but I would want to work for the safety and security of the galaxy. Like that's pretty good. It's a pretty good thing.
for sure.
Oh man, and they meet in places like this. Super cool. Super cool. It's not like meeting down in a ground story in New York City and like people like swearing outside your meeting. Like, it's like there's random naked people doing drugs. Like, this sucks. I don't want to work here.
I mean, it's super important for if you're in the Empire, you have a lot of power hungry people. They need to feel like they are part of something important, big. And so having these like mountain resort meeting places to discuss Imperial matters makes people feel important.
Makes them feel
Morale starts
appreciated.
going through the roof. Yeah, appreciated.
Yep.
Yep.
Like this could have been a Zoom meeting. That sucks. That doesn't feel good.
I don't feel good at all.
This feels great for Mon Mothma. This is the Mothma estate. Look how rich this is. This is some rich
Oh,
shit.
it's so rich.
It's like high mountains and like this is her house. Sorry, this is her estate.
Yep.
I want an estate. Oh my gosh. And like they have neighbors, but they're like way over there. You could have a super loud party. Not a problem. These people, like, yeah, you share a mountain with them. Like you never encounter them.
Also,
There's no
like,
noise complaints.
shipping in food and other things, it's not cheap. There's no road, so you got to like
Orbital drop.
orbital drop. You got to have, it's got to come in regularly. This is really, this is wealth on a grand scale.
And there's no like clear roads, so that means people are hiking in by foot. Wait, no, we have flying vehicles.
Yeah.
That's right.
Flying
So you just
vehicles,
fly it.
yeah.
You just fly it in. What am I doing? What am I doing? That'd be so cool. Mon Mothma, super rich.
So rich.
This was my favorite planet, Mina Rao. So
Okay.
it's super bland. It's just wheat fields, but it really gave me this feeling of humanity spreading out. We have a galactic empire. So as the inner planets become more and more industrialized, you get planets like Coruscant that are just entire city planet. Like if you're entire city planet, where are you growing food? You outsource your food to the outer colonies. Hey, actually it's written right here, to the outer rim. And then you get industrial scaled farms, like planet-wide farms that would look like this.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
planet
it's
had
really
the
cool.
most sci-fi feel to me. Out of, yeah. Well, because like we could have a scientific base like this now. Could be.
I guess
We could
that
have,
made me feel the ice base made me feel science fiction because we could, but we don't at this
Do we?
scale. So
Are you
only
allowed
the
to know?
Empire has.
Maybe you're not
resources
allowed
like
to know.
this.
Maybe we do have these.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe we do up in Canada or Alaska,
Greenland.
or somewhere.
Actually, okay, in Greenland there is the seed farm. Do you know about this?
No. Oh, there's they like go underground and put a bunch of seeds in there for posterity. So is this the thing?
Exactly.
The storage. Yeah, the storage.
Greenland.
I thought it was in was it in
Svalbard.
Norway or something? Oh no, it's on like an island.
No. So you are right. Yeah, it's in Norway. There's the Svalbard Global Seed Vault. And so let's look at some pictures of that.
Okay.
Look at this place. It's like this mountain. You just see this random entrance, and then underground is a bunch of seeds that humans need for the future, I guess. That's the idea is if there was nuclear war and the surface of the earth is messed up, after the surface of the earth recovers, hopefully, you come here, get seeds, you can restart civilization.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, are we allowed to know this? Maybe we should know that.
I don't know if this is not military, right?
Gosh. Yeah, maybe that's my American centric perspective. Like, I would military this the heck up. Just protect it. Anyway, what
maybe
were we
each
saying?
maybe each country has its own. Yeah. So this scale of this particular thing is much larger than the seed vault.
Oh,
Look at it.
absolutely.
It's huge.
Absolutely. Yeah, huge. You got like spaceport here or something, like the city
Yeah.
or something. And then you like travel along this long highway to like the actual research laboratory. Oh, that's super cool.
Super cool. But I see
Okay.
what you're saying. The wheat planet felt pretty science fiction-y.
It felt like, yeah, it felt like the logical consequences of a galactic empire. You'd end up
Yeah.
with these farm planets on the outer rim because they're the ones that are less developed, and it would be just pack it in as much food as you can.
Because you got to feed all of Coruscant and other city planets.
Yep.
It's a lot of food.
And then there's the last planet, this one, where it was unnamed.
Yep. When I was watching this, I actually thought he landed on the same planet. Like he was in an Arctic base and he flew down to the tropics and landed. But
Oh,
he actually,
I can see that.
yeah. I got a little confused for a while. But so he flew off Sienar and ended up on this mystery planet. It's a totally different planet. I got confused.
I could see it. Yeah, because it could have been up in the Arctic, and then because the Arctic would be a good place to put a base because no one's walking around there. No one can stumble upon your base.
Right.
And then this could be like Jamaica, right? Like,
Right.
I mean,
I figured he was like, I can't really fly this thing. I'm gonna get far away from the base as possible, and then I'm gonna put her down in the spot that I'm supposed to. But no, he left the planet completely. I didn't realize.
I think this is a different planet. And then when I was making these screenshots, I was looking for what is this planet labeled as, and it wasn't labeled at all. And then I looked it up, see what people were saying on the internet, and I think this is Yavin 4.
Yeah. Because I think in a couple episodes coming up, we see what looks like the old base,
Like the temples or the
the
base or
upcoming
something.
new base. Yeah.
Right.
So
Cool. We'll see what happens
yeah, cool. We'll see what happens. Yeah.
next time.
See you guys next time.